Hey y'all, I'm Scrub, and welcome back to Quasimorph. In the last part, we tried to take the fight to the #1 power in the galaxy, who's ahead by pretty much a country mile compared to everybody else, and we promptly got beaten down for it, unfortunately. We were able to claw it back and do a successful mission, but yeah, we're clearly going to need to rethink how we approach this, because he is way out ahead of everybody, and the problem with this game is once you get out ahead, and you're pretty much going to stay ahead, which means they're just going to beat down literally everyone else. Honestly, combined, he might have more power than the rest of the galaxy, which is pretty scary, so we do need to come up with a plan to go after that. However, yeah, looking at his defense contracts, which means we would be joining the aggressors. 6,000 power concentration, 6,000. The easy one would be 3,000 on 3 floors. One over on Ceres, which is on the other side of the world, so we won't be able to join that one. Yeah, the problem's going to be us being able to find a mission, well, 1 nearby, and 2, one that we can even kind of have a chance at. Because at this point, our only operative left standing is Kenzie Yukio, who's Valkyrie Squad, which I don't think is a bad class. I think we just don't have a great weapon for it, because the biggest problem with this thing, yeah, its damage is 1 to 37. Even if we're landing our hits, that's pretty low damage, and if we get a low roll on top of that, it's not going to do anything. So we really do need to come up with a plan, and I think the first order of business for that is going to be rebuilding our operatives. One thing we do have going for us that I haven't really covered yet is we did unlock a couple new classes. We got tunnel rats over here, and I believe their deal is shotguns, which I have been talking about isn't maybe where we want to be headed at this point. So getting an infection lowers the chance of receiving wounds, not great. Shotgun ammo damage, that's actually pretty good. Items from enemies is an interesting one. Since the most recent patches, it doesn't feel like it's too hard to get items off people. However, of course, in this game, more loot's never going to be a bad thing. Getting a wound has a chance to stabilize all wounds. That's actually really good potentially. So we might want to try that out. Revealing a hidden enemy will increase your crit chance, is pretty solid. And accuracy from cover. Enemy attacks missing the player activates it. So not a terrible class. I feel like this is one that with a little bit of modification could be really good. Maybe replacing some stuff to increase dodge chance. The other one, I don't think this is one I've ever used. Phoenix Brigade. I wonder what they're going to be all about. Setting fire to an enemy grants XP. Okay, so we're already getting a pretty good idea about what they want to do. An enemy with fire, beam, or plasma grants XP. Okay. Battery damage. Each hit with energy ammo. Successful attack on player triggers elemental resist. Shooting a weapon activates the trigger and lowers reload duration. And getting a bleeding wound activates regen. That seems like it could be really good. And I think we may even have some good weapons for that. I know we have a couple plasma weapons. Okay, Phoenix Brigade might be one we want to take a crack at. And I think now that we have a pretty deep roster, we do need to move away from the old playstyle of really relying on Francis, Percy, and Oberon, and pretty much we just had 3 people we were constantly cycling. I think we need to go a little bit wider so we can have more coverage, because I think at this point we really do need to focus on specializing against some things. And the other question is, would I want to modify any of these classes before we start assigning them? The problem again though, yeah, we need literally all of the items for ship upgrades, which I do think takes priority over modifying classes. This does feel more like mid to end game type stuff, so I'll hold off on that, but I do think we could do a few things with a couple classes to make them exceptional. There is a Tion main factory over on Mars itself, and one over on Phobos as well. Let's see if we can trigger some missions against them. Didn't trigger anything here, sadly, so let's go ahead and check out Mars. And I did also set up quite a bit of crafting in the menu, because we do need to replenish some stocks that we lost. The other thing that I think I do need to kind of shift my focus on while we're talking about things that I've been messing up lately, yeah, I have been definitely hyper-focused on rewards, because we've been kind of, you know, finally interacting with the barter economy and whatnot. The thing we need to be looking at is our power concentration, which is going to determine the power per floor. And of course, the other thing to think about, because the entire solar system works on a barter economy, is sometimes items might be worth more than the quote-unquote credit that we're getting. So maybe we just focus on that. And again, we do want to try and bring down Tion main where we can, and of course build Planet Bridge. And speaking of, we should probably figure out what Planet Bridge itself is all about. CEO is not Ushijima Moromao anymore, but that's fine. Planet Bridge is a leading corporation in the field of engineering and construction technology. Not every artificial celestial body in the solar system and not every station were built by Planet Bridge, but the corporation has worked as a contractor in almost all of them. Moreover, Planet Bridge does not have a narrow specialization. It does not matter whether we are talking about providing a station with internal infrastructure or developing a transport network on a planet or satellite surface. Planet Bridge's motto: building bridges between planets. Real creative there. Planet Bridge's efficiency and engineering are so deeply embedded in the system's transportation network that every third orbital station is rumored to bear traces of their interference and hidden control. Of course, working in outer space is associated with risks to the lives of their workers. The corporation entices employees with promises of huge financial rewards for those willing to participate in building the future. Planet Bridge also prides itself on its educational programs. The corporation provides general and advanced training in engineering and project management. These programs are in demand among both corporate players seeking to optimize their production and among parents who have taken the risk of having children and want them to have a comfortable future as members of the elite cast of builders in the new world. The history of Planet Bridge dates back to the early days of space exploration. Their first projects included developing life support systems for space stations and building the first large space colonies. The young corporation gained widespread attention when it purchased the International Space Station from governments. Wow, so these guys might be like the only chill corporation in space, and I killed their leader. Whoopsie-doo. We'll make sure they have a bright future, I'm sure. But let's go ahead and hop on this RealWare mission, because yeah, 400 power concentration across 3 floors shouldn't be the worst. We are around Mars, so we don't have to worry about Quasimorphs. And Sunlight Coven does look like they have some decent weapon technologies, and they are up to 6. So we do need to be careful, but they might have some good stuff for us to grab. To start off, looking at their passive bonuses, because we are basically rebuilding from scratch, which is kind of the nice thing about a full stack wipe. You can really rethink things. I'm gonna grab Percy. His passive is all resists up to 12 by default, so him being a Scout of Hades is probably a good call. As a passive, he can increase those by 10%, so he's gonna be guaranteed to get value out of this at all times. Being able to switch between SMGs and shotguns as 2 weapons is probably a good call as well. Range accuracy will make up for his lack of accuracy. Damage boost is always nice. Him having just a bunch of health on top of those resistances is going to be pretty good. It means he has more of a chance to survive. And building up a dodge chance, again, is just going to help him be even more tanky. Because yeah, his real drawback here is, unfortunately, yeah, range accuracy is not great and his dodge chance is pretty low. However, he's got a great pain threshold, decent sight, and his crit damage isn't terrible. And he has a bunch of health base, so him building up even more health, I think this will be a decent class for him. And we'll give him the Exosuite suit. I did lose all that really good armor last time, unfortunately. I didn't even like clock it until I was doing the editing, so that is a bit of a shame. And speaking of, according to my notes, Sunlight Coven does like their beams, so we probably actually go the Cerberus over the other one because that's against poison. We'll give you some good pants as well. Do we have any really good boots? No, looks like they're all pretty similar. Although this definitely has more than the others. We're also down to our last buffalo, so be a little bit careful about that. And the Curus. Okay. Do we take the resistance here, or do we go for the extra vest slot? I think at this point we need to honestly start looking at resistance more often. I'm actually going to go for that. Okay, it looks like our most powerful SMG is actually going to be this Vortex, which uses 42 rounds, so we'll swap over to that, try that out. Might also be the first time we're actually using 42 rounds. We were talking about this last time. We do definitely need to make sure that we're bringing a bunch, so we'll bring 3 stacks of that. And I just realized we are basically out of PMC rations. We do have plans to be able to make them. That does require the canned food here. We need, I believe, the beef, so we'll leave that in the ship. And we also need the fake Snickers bars, so we'll be keeping an eye out for those in the field. Worst case scenario, I can always turn these stacks of plastic into literal stacks of the synthetic food. Not very cost efficient and definitely gonna eat up a lot of space. And I also think we're at a point where we really do need to make sure that most of our equipment is topped up before we head out on a mission, because we're chunking through the actual condition pretty quickly. And armor usually isn't an issue. However, I do think we're probably going to be approaching that point pretty quickly as well. Making most of the basic kits right now isn't that big of an issue anymore, fortunately, so I think it'll be fine. We probably want to also start getting into the habit of using some of this stuff for a change. Get rid of the robot, though. We'll probably end up selling that. Yeah, I think let's just bring some makeshift grenades. Why not? I think we need to start taking the missions a little bit more seriously. This is just going to be a basic elimination mission where we gotta take out a manager of Sunlight Coven. Up on the 3rd floor. Fairly small level to start off. Looks like we need to head south for the objective. No problem there. Okay, first contact in the next room. And one over to the right. This is another thing that I did see very quickly while I was looking at the footage. We really do need to start being a lot more aware of our spacing. Early game, it didn't seem like it was as much of a problem. Open spaces against these enemies we're facing at this point seems to be a death sentence. Really does feel like we need to start sticking with cover, making sure that we have opportunities to get away quickly. A more mobile, but also more defensive playstyle might be a bit more beneficial to us. Like right there, that wasn't necessarily the best call, but I felt pretty confident because he had a pistol. This one's going to be flanking at this point, so I think we start pulling back. They have to go up this way, so I think we're going to start catching them in a corner here, and the only way they can go is this way. Okay, we still don't have an angle on you. See if we can get a shot at you. All right, Accuracy isn't great. One, we're sprinting. Two, this character's not very accurate. So I think we're fine. Go up to regular walking. Still no angle. There we go. Get a little bit closer. We really can't hit anything. What's your effective range? 4, not great. Okay, get a little bit closer. There we go. Fortunately, because of this vest, it's literally 1 round reload. That's actually pretty massive. The problem is he is really going to need to be in close quarters, at least until he levels up. Probably should have used some XP items on him because I'm pretty sure we could use either the video games or that extremboline or extremboline. I don't know how it's pronounced. In any event, we are where we are. Yep. That's not great. Go ahead and heal that fracture right away. Rip a shot at you. Nope. Okay, we're immediately going to be paying for me trying to think. Okay, you reopened that immediately. That's real bad. No need to be greedy. Throw a grenade here. Fall back. You both have angles. Rip a shot at you. Go. Hopefully, okay, fire, that's pretty good. At this point, go ahead and splint the open fracture. Hopefully this time we don't get screwed on it. Reload while we move. That's gonna be a laser pistol, right? We know these guys like beam. Try and move away. I think we need to try and bait them into corners, kind of like we're playing defense. The problem is they can definitely flank this way. Sneak mode shot. How are you looking? Deep wounds. Okay, that's good. Probably save a little bit of ammo here. Yep, that didn't heal. Had a feeling that would be the case. Get another reload in, and since we have some free time, go ahead and swap that out for a full stack. Go ahead and eat this. Yep, let them approach me. Try the back angle here. What do you both have? Shotgun, and you have the laser pistol. You might bleed out if we're lucky. There we go. Okay, good miss. Finish you before you can do anything. These do have piercing, keep in mind, so even though it's just an SMG, we might be able to get some double play going. Get back into cover, wait in stealth. Still fractured. Okay, here we go. This is going to be a thing. I feel I'm going to use all my splints and it's still not going to heal. That could be a problem. Have a go land. We'll move up one more, get closer, and then I'll peek and rip a shot. There we go. Here we go. Yep, one more splint, and it's probably still not going to fucking heal. Second med kit's good at least. Nano stim. It'd be nice. Our backup weapon being a crash shotgun. It's not the good one, unfortunately, but it could be okay. We'll keep the buckshot in the back for now. And let's see, what do we need for... Yeah, we're gonna need plastic purely to repair our fucking wound, I think. Admittedly, not the best start, but it's where we're at. Memory records, we'll keep that. This is actually a decent laser handgun. We might as well try and carry that back. Okay, good kill there. Still... trying to keep an eye out for another group coming in. Okay, probably go Taiga M over this. Not picking up any signatures. Doesn't mean they're not nearby. Okay, these are actually decent boots. We'll grab those. Another Curious. That's huge. Ooh. Decent legend pants and okay boots. Again, we do really need to replenish our stockpiles, so just go ahead and grab both of those. Okay, good news. We actually got over our wound. All it took was literally all our splints for one fucking injury. Good news is we didn't come away from this empty-handed, so we've got that going for us. We'll genuinely need to keep a stack of plastic on us because it's a 30% recovery chance. Fortunately, we have antibiotics this time, but we might chew through those faster than I'd like as well. This is why you turn around before you start doing any movements. This is why you check first, instead of walking into a shotgun. Up to walking. Laceration self-healing. I think the plan, go over here with sprint. That's still cover. Risk it. Okay, yeah, we hit the... And he hit us through cover. Love it. There we go. Okay, you missed yours. Go down to walking. Sunlight Coven's heavy troopers. This was the other thing I was thinking about. We do really need to start focusing on, at least for the high tier troops, we need to figure out their defenses. And of course, the inner circle is all about piercing defense. It looks like their weaknesses are going to be beam and cold. Everything else is kind of mid, and then they're good against pierce, which also doubles as explosive. I guess it's taking an average of blunt and pierce. We need to figure that out too. You have a buffalo on you though, and you're out of ammo, and that thing takes forever to reload. Hold on. What's gonna be the quickest way to get to you? According to the game, this way. Yep. Waste your actions, go down to walking for accuracy. Screw you, dick. And the infection should be... Okay, there we go. I was gonna say, hopefully it wears off because of the self-healing wound, which it did, thankfully.
I'll make you regret this.
Okay, thanks for the regret. Appreciate it. Oh, it was a Jeff Hammer MD. Ooh, do we take the Taiga or... I mean, that's 8 to 17 by 5. Yeah, grab that. I think we disassemble this because we can make those pretty easily. And of course, Absentia, we eat the meat. Probably just grab all the cadet armor. It's, again, not great, but better than nothing. Actually, just take all your armor because you are a heavy trooper. You did almost kill us, so maybe I should put a little bit more respect on your name. Okay, one right around the corner. That's fine. Theranos armor, not too terrible. Okay, I think we wait. Peek. Cute. Don't peek this doorway, and I'm glad I looked even further south. What do you have? Pistol? Okay, I am actually going to get closer to you purely to get in range with this weapon. Okay. Canned food. We do need that. The one thing we do have in abundance, unfortunately, is pistols, which I don't know if there's any class that specializes in that. I don't think there is. Granted, I was also thinking we might be at the point where I legitimately start bringing backup weapons. Again, the problem with that is we do need to try and extract other stuff, so I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. That's one I think I might need to think about a little bit more before we commit to a plan. Okay, I think we might have actually cleared the level, so other than a rough start, that's... Again, why do I ever talk? As soon as I say anything, go away. I said I think we cleared the level. Thank you.
This is restricted area.
Please. That's not good. You have 2 melee weapons. I don't know if the AI can throw, and you have a Jeff Hammer MD. That's bad. Okay, good stun there. Okay, yep, that was a risk, but it's fine. It was calculated. 1, 2, sprint even further away so that we minimize damage. Walk, turn around. There we go. I'm gonna actually wait in place. Okay, get closer and shoot. This is why we went for the beam defense, because we were worried about this. Problem, I think, with this, it does say 15% radiation there. I don't know if that's going to actually heal this or if that's already done. What's this other thing we got? That is for shock and frost, unfortunately. And that one, it says specifically minus 20% frostbite. I think this just helps give us a chance to heal radiation. I don't think it will heal radiation. It says mild exposure. I don't think that goes away once this goes away. I'm going to try popping the burn tablets just to do it. Maybe we'll get lucky and it'll automatically heal. Okay, good kill. I'm pretty sure it's not going to, by the way. So that's nice. Okay, get a little bit closer, sneak, so we don't get caught unawares. You know what? Just eat that immediately. There we go, hardened. And bodybuilding up. Okay, that's huge. I think that's both of those maxed. Okay, legend armor. Drop the cadet for that for sure. Get rid of the rags. Do I try and get a second Jeff Hammer out? Is the question. Which one is in better condition? The other one. Okay, so plan here. Swap this into here. Disassemble the rest. I'm gonna swap to that. Reload it while we fall back to the ship in stealth to save on calories. And then we'll put this one up with the full ammo, and then actually, since we're thinking about it, swap it right away. Reload this one, and this will be our backup weapon here. And go ahead and combine the buckshot stacks. There we go. Might need to do a little bit of creative movement on the ship itself. Yeah, I was afraid of that. So radiation sickness, I don't think we're getting rid of. Infection, poison, does not reduce that. This does not reduce that. And antibiotics definitely don't. Okay, so right now we are stuck with -5 on that. So note to self, bring things that reduce radiation sickness against these guys. Also, I guess we didn't have one on here already. So good news, we're at least getting one out if in case, you know, I die here in about 10 seconds. At this point, probably just leave these meds on the ship and move on. I'm even gonna go ahead and disassemble a couple buckshots to make sure we get a full stack of powder out. There we go. Okay, I think at this point we head towards the elevator, move the grenade back down there as well. And I did want to check. Okay, so we have max health and our resistances are as boosted as they can be. So 17 on poison resist when I don't think we have a single thing working towards that. Honestly, pretty good. And Pierce is at 112, so 89% resist. Yeah, this is pretty decent. Again, I think our problem with this guy, which is one of the issues we need to tackle, he doesn't have quite the killing power we need with this SMG, although I think that's more a problem with the weapon platform itself than with him, even though he doesn't have great accuracy. I'm hoping with CQC Specialist he'll be able to compensate for that, but we'll have to see. But 170 health is not too shabby. I got to the elevator and realized I didn't loot half these guys. Going back. Oh, and I did want to try and get okay, we have to check that warehouse purely because it could have upgrade material. And another cure. Oh boy, okay. It's concerning that we're getting all this good stuff to me. It really is. There could even be some dangerous dudes down here. You know what, just be safe. Peek and walk. Okay, good. Now we keep going stealth. I'm not gonna say it. Okay, I think we might have cleared the level. We came down here for rotten meat. Love that for us. It's the best. Can we at least get a decent amount of chemtrail? 22. We might end up dropping that for something more important later. And speaking of, there is a weapon rack to check. Ooh, interesting. Laser SMG and a flamethrower. Oh, actually, I'm on the right weapon for once, so we can actually do a side-by-side. Less damage, less crit, better accuracy. This thing only has 65 accuracy, I just realized. That doesn't help. Decent scatter, longer reload. 1 to 4. Okay. This might be worth trying out for a little bit. We'll keep it in the back for now. I want to get rid of at least 1 stack of ammo before we do that. But I was getting batteries for the ship, and we do have a decent stockpile on us now. And also, holy crap, that's thermal grenade. I thought it was a fire extinguisher for some reason. Drop the chemtrail for the grenade. I don't plan on using any toxic weapons. We still have a 3rd floor to get to, by the way. So probably just blast through this one and then call the capsule on the 3rd. Elevator way up north. Okay. Sneak to the door. Sneak a little meal in right now. In theory, this should benefit us, though, because it seems to be a lot more tight corridors, which should be good for an SMG. Try and get in there. They actually blocked up the server room with the little scanner. Here, a door open. Oh, they opened that door. Interesting. Go up to sprint. Back out. Shoot. Check our backs. We're fine for the moment. There could have been another one in there. Wait in place. Yep, that's why we wait. 3 rounds in a row you missed. My man. There we go. Shouldn't be another one because they would have come out by now, hopefully. Guess the good news is that we can go check that now if we like. Go down to stealth for the next round. Get onto here. Now we'll check all the bodies. And that door closed behind us. Perfect. Okay, we could charge it, but all that would tell us is the elevator, which we already know. Okay, we got 1 in the room above us, and then 4 ahead, and nothing else on the floor. Okay, I am really not sure how power concentration matters, because how many did we fight on the 1st floor? We must have fought 15 to 20. There are 8 total on this floor. 3 of them, I think, had melee weapons. So I think my assumption that power concentration gets split evenly is completely wrong. I feel like that's not correct anymore, because this has happened a couple times and I haven't really stopped to think about it. I'm guessing it must be a random distribution. That being said, I also don't know what that number actually means. I know it's split between technology and manpower and whatnot, but it's really hard to get a read of like, okay, this is approximately what I can expect, because these guys are all coming in with pretty decent tech, at least on the 1st floor. 2nd floor has jack shit on it. I have to assume the 3rd floor is going to have a lot of bad stuff now, because this floor probably doesn't have much. In any event, the only path is forward, so that's where we'll go. I just heard a door open. Go to walking real quick. That was probably this door opening, if I had to guess. Yep. I had a feeling that was going to be the case. I could just chuck a grenade in there. Also, another scanner. Love that. I don't think we need that, though. Okay, go up to sprint. We have an angle. Pull back. Get to the corner and wait. Okay, not what I was expecting. I was really expecting you to open that door, considering you just got shot at and I don't have a silencer. Yeah, more melee and a pistol. Yeah, I really... Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna break this box with the shotgun. Hey, guess who probably has a good weapon, because it's a beam weapon. Was that the other 4? I lost count because I got annoyed that I got hit with a beam weapon. We're still fine. It's the same thing. Mild exposure. Good. Reload from the backpack. It's going to take an extra round. That's fine. We'll just do 3 rounds like so. Enlightenment mark... Question mark, I guess. Pierce through incendiary optical, guaranteed to pierce, and a veteran. Ooh. Okay, we definitely want to get both of these out. I think I swapped to this at this point to get a little bit more carrying capacity. We move the buckshot down here. Move this over here. Are these boots better? We lose shock and incendiary. We lose a little bit of cut. We gain 1 pierce, 5 blunts, and 10 poison. We do actually need the burn resist right now because of the beam, I think. It's not beam resistant, but I think beam has a chance, like this is incendiary, so it could catch us on fire. And I think this helps against that. And it is plasma resistant. I have a feeling plasma is also going to be on their menu if they're using laser weapons. So we probably hold on to that. Yeah, I think we got a few of these pairs. I'm fine just leaving it. Would like to get this out though. Drop the rubber and I love lamp. We do have 2 of these, but I think we might genuinely need both of them at some point with how missions have been going lately. And we need the plastic to heal wounds. You know what? We're not going to be making grenades anytime soon. Drop the tin cans. It's fine. Oh, we have a rib. I didn't even realize that. Never mind. We're good. Okay, I thought there was one more. I'm glad I'm not good at math and always doubt myself. Hey, remember that time I was saying they would have plasma? An Omega 2 plasma generator. Oy vey. What kind of weapon is this? Plasma SMG, technically. According to this, at least on credit value, range accuracy 100, 2755, crit damage 215, 3.24. Oh, it's very short range, only 3. That is a problem. Although I might have an idea for what we might want our sniper to do. Drop the 6 buckshot. Keep the microchip. We're grabbing this. Okay, you're refusing to push that, so I think we need to sprint into the door. Don't like that. Back off. Wait. Double wait. One more. You didn't clip the fuel barrel with a shotgun. Well done, actually. And there goes CQC in training. So if we do survive this mission, we should actually be pretty well set up for our guy, which is great. Eat even more cabbage. Dismantle everything. Move on. You would have a turret, wouldn't you? You know what? Sneak a repair on everything with the weapon parts we have. They should get us through the rest of the mission. Fingers crossed. We're fine on armor plates. Drag that up here. Grab this. I might even end up using it, which is a weird change of pace. I know, using a turret on a mission, that's actually insane. But if it's on the mission, I might as well use it, right? And unless the scanner was lying to me, we should be clear up through here. I'm gonna sneak forward just in case. Okay, looks like we're fine. Also, load up the shotgun and the SMG before we push through. Okay, no scan on this floor. Target is south of us. And capsule dropped maybe in the hallway just outside of him, depending on if this hallway runs all the way down here or if it splits off. Other new lesson I was thinking about, don't ever sneak into doorway. Always do something like that. And now go down to sneak. Get rid of the fuel in that barrel. Okay, interesting hallway design. This just goes into the same open room. Don't know why they wouldn't have closed that off, but whatever. Thick behind cover. Okay, bad news, capsule's gonna be a little bit harder to get to. Good news, the guy's right here. Go walking. He doesn't have line of sight of us yet.
Just begin to leave and again battles are
Can I can angle that. Grenade there. Hemostatic, I'm just gonna eat it and then back off. There we go. Okay, sprint to cover. Rip a shot. There we go. All for the evac. The question is, do I greed here or do I just bounce? I do want to at least check his body. So we'll walk. Oh boy. Okay. Slight concern. Stick to cover. Rip shot. Rip shot. Back off. Just check you. Honestly, probably not worth checking. Tear that apart in case we can get... Yes. Ooh, actually, oh, a lot of food. Okay, very greedy, but I think I have a plan. Drop that, that's fine. And grab that for 5 bandages because rags, it's literally a 1-to-1, I think, on bandages. Keep that just in case. And now we just sprint away. They are probably going to be coming to respond to this, so maybe stick a little bit away from the door and try and stick to some kind of cover if we can. There we go. Boom, we finally did a successful mission, yay. And this is why it's probably worth sticking with certain companies. RealWare decided to give us Transformer not great, Legend Pants pretty good, a common item chip, so a full set of armor could be very good, I don't know. Scalp missiles, I have no idea what that's for, that could be great. Military spare parts, as well as some blood bags, which again, I assume we need for some kind of medical kit at some point. Some hemostatic and a little bit of synthetic beef that we can actually use for MREs. So not terrible. And of course, we came out of here with a bunch of weapons, mainly 2 SMGs, a shotgun, and a new laser sniper rifle, as well as a bunch of vests and armor. So not quite the recovery from losing that top tier armor from taking out the CEO, but it is a decent little start for a comeback. And we did get that turret out of there at the end of the day, which means it's probably just gonna sit in my cargo hold for all eternity. And definitely make sure to replace the splints and bandages that we used. I would like everyone to carry a couple med kits if we can afford to. I have been making a bunch of stuff in the background as well for medical supplies, so we can actually hopefully start making some more of our own. I think we'll be okay there. We will definitely need to start mass producing some more bandages and splints though. Oh, right, we're waiting on some stuff to finish up first. That's fine. Okay, I think what I'm actually going to do, because I do want to be a little bit closer to the center of the galaxy, because we keep being just out of reach of Planet Bridge missions, which is a bit of a shame, because I do need to be helping them out as much as I can. Actually, I'm going to travel to Venus, which will also give us an opportunity to work on a lot of crafting. Also, follow-up. Armor. What is this new stuff that we got? Ceramite medical pants. Okay, you know what? This new armor might be worth going for. It seems pretty decent across the board. Its weaknesses are burn and shock, but a decent spread on blunt, cut, and pierce, solid beam resistance, and decent against poison and cold as well. And that's what they're all gonna be. It needs rusty metal, armor plates, which aren't too terrible. It does use ceramic, which shouldn't be too much of an issue. Wire, we're doing okay on, and transformers, which we have been collecting. I might do one run of this for somebody just to see if I like it. That might also be armor that we end up considering for our first armor kit upgrades. Out of curiosity, what does one of these cost? Oh, it starts with ceramics and then you need all the item chips. Right. Again, that's definitely some endgame stuff when you when you have a bunch of the stuff. We have been pretty lucky with our item chips so far. It's all been stuff that we actually need. Yeah, we'll get one full production line of that new armor going, see if we end up liking it. Okay, good news. We're actually tied for last with Coreward, so we're not dead last. We're just mostly last. Oh, hello. You decided to pick up a bunch of contracts, and of course you want me to go across the world to do them. Planet Bridge, we need to talk about, you know, where you're doing contracts, because I can't get to any of these, I don't think. I just left Mars. Okay, hold on. How long is that one? 18 days. I don't think I can get there in time, and everything else is definitely too far away. At least we're not being attacked, and at least you're trying to do stuff. Like, come on, guys. We gotta work together on this. And the only anti-Tianmin operations I can do are both escort missions. I'm gonna travel to Mercury, see if maybe we can trigger something else to happen in the meantime. Planet Bridge has gone to a defense footing.
Roger.
Okay, so I guess they will do their own thing if left to their own devices. So maybe that first time I just rolled 2 conquests back to back. Again, I'm pretty sure if I go in here, I can just change that. Yeah, keep working on expansion. Oh, here we go. Okay, you know what? We can do one mission for Planet Bridge, a control mission, which sucks that's a defense mission because I don't know how much I'm gonna actually gain from that. But it does prevent Tech Slam from being a dick. Unless there is anything I can do against Tianmin here, which I sincerely doubt. Not a single mission. How about we actually go ahead and wrap it up for here, ladies and gentlemen? This was a little bit of a longer part than I was expecting it to be. We have slowly but surely begun rebuilding the PMC, and we did get some sweet armor out of the deal, which I will probably take out next time on one of our operatives. I think Kenzie's okay. I like the idea for that class, but I think we do need to find a better weapon. Percy as a scout of Hades is working out pretty well, and I do have a couple ideas. We do have to keep in mind Victoria, she should actually be... Okay, no, she does have it. It just... Interesting. Oh, wait, do I have to... Oh, okay. So I think what you have to do, you have to actually reclone them once you... Yeah, let's try that real quick. We can rotate for 10 hours. There we go. Okay. So if you do some upgrades to your clone, keep in mind you have to actually reclone them. I guess that makes sense. But now that she actually has decent health, I feel like we might be able to send her out on some missions. We do have to keep in mind that her pain threshold is extremely low, which I think is one of her other main issues. So maybe we should have even tried to upgrade that first so that she can keep doing actions. But we did see in the new weapons, there's some very powerful ones that their issue is range. However, if she boosts that range, then suddenly that's not really a problem anymore. So next time we might take her out as Phoenix Brigade and see if we can try and make some of this burn stuff happen with the plasma and whatnot. We will need to find an easy mission to take her out on because we're gonna have to try out the new class. I think eventually we can hopefully get everyone online and everyone can actually be pretty adept at their job. And then at that point, we can start figuring out exactly who their best enemies are gonna be. So hopefully y'all are looking forward to that. Until then, thanks for stopping by. See you later.